Welcome to Black and Gold Digital Edition, a behind-the-scenes look at your Pittsburgh Steelers.
Hi everybody, welcome to week 15 of our digital show. Jay Puskar alongside Kent Urbanski and Mike Fenner. And guys, first and foremost, another good win for the Steelers on the road going to Arizona. It wasn't pretty, but hey, in this league, a win is a win, and they are 8-5 overall going into the matchup against the Buffalo Bills.
Unbelievable. 1-4, 8-5. You have to talk about the consideration of what Mike Tomlin has done with this football team. All the injuries, you have to at least consider him as a Coach of the Year candidate at this point, because this has been unbelievable, the turnaround that they've had. And with 3 weeks to go, they control their destiny. They are currently in the 6th spot in the AFC in terms of the wild card. The division looks unlikely because they'd have to have Baltimore lose out and win out, but still a very, very good chance to make the playoffs. I think it's right under 70% right now, according to the numbers.
And Kent, just the man-up mentality. I mean, here we saw Deontay Johnson step up this week. The week before that, it was James Washington. So guys are really stepping up when called upon.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing who that's going to be this week, and they're going to need somebody to step up, because I think this is going to be the best defense they have faced in a long time. So looking for somebody to step up to make that next step for one of these younger guys. I don't know whether it's White, the running back, or Benny Snell in the run game. Needs to go off in this game and have a big game.
How great of a matchup we have, too, with Buffalo coming up on Sunday Night Football. This game was flexed. Originally, it was a 1 o'clock kickoff on Sunday. It's now an 8:20 game. You get the sense that it's already a playoff game, though, considering the fact of what these teams are going through. Buffalo's still trying to track down the Patriots because New England's not playing really well, and they have an outside shot of winning the division, but Buffalo so far has the lead in the wild card. As for Pittsburgh, you mentioned that the division might not be theirs anymore, but they certainly got a firm grasp on the wild card, Mike.
And especially with a win over Buffalo, I mean, they'd almost be guaranteed to be in the field. And for the Bills as well, ever since that Thanksgiving Day win over the Cowboys, they've been kind of conservatively looking at the schedule and saying, okay, we got to get one of these 3 games. It didn't happen last week against Baltimore. Not a huge disappointment. But now you got Pittsburgh in prime time, and then you turn around and take on the Patriots. If you're the Bills, you don't want to go into Week 17 sweating out that game against the Jets. So this is huge for both sides. Both absolutely need to win this game, and fortunately for both, they do own the tiebreaker over the team that's right on the outside there with Tennessee. Buffalo, the head-to-head, Pittsburgh, the conference record right now. So it's still, you don't want to be looking over your shoulder. Take care of your own business, and both sides feel like they're in pretty good shape with a win.
And Kent, I feel like this game is going to be points at a premium. These two defenses have been outstanding all season long.
Yeah, absolutely. And in other shows, I've talked about what the Steelers can't do is give short fields to the other team. Well, that's particularly important here. You know what I mean? Because with Josh Allen coming in, he's a good quarterback. They have design runs for this guy. So and he can throw. So. You can't give him short fields to play with. You have to make him work for it, and I think that's key to this game. I'm looking for a lower scoring game with both of these defenses. It's who's going to break. That's I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be exciting.
Who makes the killer mistake?
Yeah,
who makes the takeaway?
Right, absolutely. And I'm just glad it's in Pittsburgh. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I think that makes a difference. And Pittsburgh's favored by 2 as of today. So I think if the game were being played in Buffalo, that would be in Buffalo's favor.
Yeah, and Pittsburgh 5-2 at home this year too. They got off to a rocky start, but the opponents that they had too were pretty good as well. But now they are going to try to take advantage of that home field advantage against the Buffalo Bills. And if you're a coach, Mike, what do you tell your quarterbacks, Josh Allen, Devlin Hodges? These guys they're lacking the experience under the primetime lights of Sunday night. How do you make sure that these guys are calm and ready to go?
Be yourself. That's the best thing you can do. If you're Devlin Hodges, again, be yourself, play within your game, do what makes you comfortable, make the throws that make this offense go, but don't take any huge risks, because it is a tough defensive matchup. And same thing for Josh Allen. I think actually Hodges might have the advantage, having played that Sunday night game at the Chargers already, and now he's kind of gotten himself more comfortable. Don't forget, though, with Allen, you talked about the design runs. He leads the team with 8 rushing touchdowns. They have 12 on the year. He has 8 of them. He's 3rd in rushing, but he's not far off from either Singletary or Frank Gore. I mean, he's we joke sometimes, he's almost like an all-pro running back at quarterback. He's an athlete. He's got those design runs. Both guys are going to be involved in running the football. But I would just say be yourself. Do what you do best. Don't try to be someone you're not in a stage that might be unfamiliar for both guys.
Yeah.
Could be a matter of whoever makes the mistake then?
I think so, you know, and I think like Josh Allen is a big guy. He's what, 6'5", 240,
He is a big boy.
250, so he's
Not afraid
gonna
to take a hit.
No,
Or
not
deliver
gonna
a
be
hit.
right, or not going to be easy to bring down either with those edge rushers coming, you know. So I think the Steelers need to contain him a little bit as far as what he's able to do with his legs. You know, maybe get him moving around a little bit and make some uncomfortable throws, you know, off balance throws and get a pick. I don't think he's thrown a pick in the last seven games or something like
He has
that, right?
protected football, yeah.
You know, so I think that's key. And on the defensive side of the ball, they are so closely related as far as these defenses,
It's
as far as how
scary.
good they are. I mean, that whole back end for Buffalo, they're really good too. So, you know, Duck I think needs to be a little better than 159 yards passing, which I think he had last week again at Arizona. But man, you gotta pick and choose where you're gonna throw the ball against that defense. They're really good.
It's more than likely going to be a game time decision, but it has to be optimistic to think that James Conner and Juju Smith-Schuster were back at practice this week, full participation with it. They're only going to get healthier, and that's a great sign with the regular season starting to wind down.
It is because, you know, when you add those weapons in there, especially Juju, it makes the defense change how they cover now. So whether he's 100% healthy or not, just having him out there, you know, makes the defense change the way they cover. As far as James is concerned, boy, I'm kind of hesitant with him, not knowing how healthy he really is, and if he's going to play, you got to feed him the ball real quick and just see what he can do. You know, and see if he can take the hits. In the last game, he couldn't do it.
Mike, you were down there at practice, and just the overall consensus from the players, was it nice to have those guys back out there and at least getting some reps and trying to make sure they can get back on the field?
Yeah, breath of fresh air after having the return of Marquise Pouncey at center. Now to get these guys back, get some more explosive options, and even if James can give you 5 to 10 carries and a couple catches, it's better than not having that in there. And if you get the ball spread between a couple different guys at running back,
Are you worried about that disrupting what they've had the last couple of games, though?
It could be a factor, but yeah, I think if you have those multiple options, the multiplicity of James Conner, Jalen Samuels, Benny Snell, it could be a problem even for Buffalo to try to figure out, you know, how they stop each of those guys separately. One thing I wanted to talk about on the defensive side of the ball that I think is interesting, a lot of people aren't really talking about Steven Nelson at cornerback. A lot of people are talking about Minkah Fitzpatrick, his great season, Joe Hayden, his great stretch, but it's like no one said anything about Nelson. He's been kind of a shutdown corner this season, and I think with Buffalo having a lack of explosive guys outside of John Brown, it could be a big advantage having a guy like Nelson playing a quiet, consistent game. It's kind of a good thing when you don't hear from the cornerback. It's kind of like the long
It's usually the ultimate compliment, knowing that, hey, you're shut down on that side of the field. We won't hear you
no one even
for
has to
3.5 hours of a football game.
Tomlin talked about him in his press conference this past week and how they knew all about Steven Nelson, you know, all through college and even at his senior day that they switched him to an inside corner and how he just excelled at that. So they knew all about Steven Nelson for a long time. And when they picked him up in free agency, man, they got a lot of grief from people. But boy, has he made a difference back there. And whether Minkah is controlling that middle and allowing that to happen, but you know Nelson was shutting down even before Minkah got there. So it's
I just thought that was a quiet, you know, kind of under the radar guy we haven't talked a ton about that's played really quality football, and I think that's a good thing.
Finally, guys, we're all really close with our family members. How cool of an opportunity is this for the Edmonds brothers? All three of them having a chance to step on the field at the NFL level, play on Sunday Night Football. It's got to be a real treat for the family.
Right. If you're a parent and you have one kid that makes it to the pro level,
it's a big
deal. You feel blessed. But all three, I mean, how does that have to, you know, feel? And I think wasn't the dad or an uncle in the NFL?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure
as well. So. The genetics in that family is incredible.
The overall enthusiasm, too. Terrell had mentioned how many tickets he's had to get, and I just wonder where they're all going to be sitting in Heinz Field. Is it going to be more of a neutral spot, or are they going to have to bounce back and forth throughout the course of the night?
Well, Terrell and Trey, both Steelers, Tremaine a Bill. Maybe there's more black and gold flavor in there. But
well, I did see those half shirts, like you know, families wear the half Bills, half Steelers shirts with the number split. And I think actually I did spot they were in the hallway once with a shirt on it in a game that I spotted. But wow, what a great opportunity. The only issue with that could possibly, though, is if James James does get a helmet, that might knock Trey out.
It could, yeah. Depends on what they do in terms of tight ends, linebackers, with the 46-man active roster. We kind of like to see, obviously, James start, do well. We'd like to see Trey play as well.
Yeah.
So you get the story, first time in, 92 years?
Right.
Duluth Eskimos, 1927.
Duluth Eskimos.
The Roonies, not the Steeler Roonies, but still.
Hey, I'd still give him at least 3 to 5 carries just to put his name in the box score and to have all 3 brothers.
Even a special teams tackle.
Yes, that'd be the nice trifecta right there too.
Absolutely.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much. For Mike Fenner and Kent Urbanski, I'm Jay Puskar. Enjoy the game this week. It should be a real treat as the Buffalo Bills pay a visit to the Pittsburgh Steelers. We'll talk to you next week.
Thanks for watching. Join us again next week for Black and Gold Digital Edition.